The Double Switch by Carole Neuok. Chapter 4. I was practically drooling over the aroma of that lasagna, and I had my focus on the place where I hoped to sit. So I didn't even see her there, but she saw me. Before I made it to that table, a newly familiar voice called to me. "Lindsay, yoo-hoo, over here. We have an extra seat. Come join us," Emily said, a few tables past the one with the men that I was headed to. She was smiling and waving her hand over her head. I looked at the two men and back at Emily. I really had my heart set on meeting those men. Yet, how could I disappoint her? She had been so nice. I smiled at her and walked right past those two men and made my way to the table where Emily and her friends sat. Emily was facing me, and her two friends had their backs to me, so they didn't see me until I was about ready to sit down. As I walked around the table to sit next to Emily, I could see that one of the ladies had been the one I had seen getting her beef and broccoli from the Asian food truck. The other lady had her hair dyed bright pink. "Lindsay, this is my friend Mary," Emily said as she motioned toward the pink-haired lady. "And this is Gertie," she said as she pointed to the lady with the beef and broccoli. Mary looked up and smiled at me. She must not have heard a word that Emily had just said. "Kelsey, I love your new hair. Did you get hair extensions, or is that a wig?" "Her name is Lindsay, not Kelsey," Emily corrected her friend. No, this is Kelsey. She plays on the worship team at church." "Right, Gertie," Mary said. "Oh, she sure does look like Kelsey." "Kelsey wears her hair shorter. She's a nurse like I was, you know. They have to wear their hair short." "She must be her twin sister. She is a twin, you know," Gertie said. "I'm pretty sure that the tall man that plays the piano is her twin," Mary said. "I thought that she was married to the piano player," Gertie said. No, that's not her husband," Mary corrected her. "Her husband is the drummer. I'm sure of that. He used to pick up their twin daughters. They were in my Sunday school class a few years back, you know," Mary said. "So which is it, dear?" Gertie asked. "Is your name Kelsey or Lindsay?" "Emily is right. My name is Lindsay," I said. "You know, this is the second time that somebody thought that I was Kelsey. She must be my doppelganger. I hear that everyone has one." "You sure do look like her," Mary said. "If you are ever in the area, come to Faith Community Church to see her perform. You will see that the two of you look just like each other." "Yes, you look more like her than her sister does," Gertie said. "You aren't her other sister, are you? I know there is another sister who isn't musical," Mary asked. "I don't have any sisters, just 5 brothers," I said. "Everyone at our church knows Kelsey," Gertie said before taking a bite of her food. "She's on one of the worship teams. My favorite one, in fact. She has such a lovely voice," Mary said. 5 brothers?" Emily asked. "Did you hear her perform last Sunday?" Gertie asked Mary. "What was that song? It just brought me to tears." "Oh, it was that one that J.J. Heller does. 'Who Will Love Me for Me,' I think it is called," Mary replied. "It is such a pretty song," Gertie said. They seemed to forget how much I looked like this Kelsey, but this whole incident did get my curiosity up again. I had to find out more about this Kelsey. I got a pen and notepad from my purse and asked, "What did you say the name of that church was?" "Faith Community Church," Gertie said. Then she recited the address, complete with the zip code. I jotted it down. Then I wrote my phone number on 2 of the slips of paper and handed one to Mary and the other to Gertie. "If you find out that they will be performing again, could you please call me?" I said as I handed one slip of paper to Mary and the other to Gertie. "Sure, I can do that," Mary said. Me too, said Gertie. This is the second time today that I've been mistaken for this lady. I think that I should try to find out more about her, I said as I put the notebook back into my purse. Isn't she Grace Henderson's daughter? We could call her, Gertie said. I think that Grace is in Canada helping her sister. She broke her hip, Mary said. No, she didn't break it. She just had it replaced, Gertie said. Come to think of it, you're right. She's in Canada right now. My phone chimed, and without thinking, I answered it, sure that it was Amy. It was Lenny, my twin brother again. Hey, Lindsay, answer your door, he said. I'm not at home, Lenny, I said. Sure you are. I can see your car in the garage, he said. I'm in Oshkosh. What do you want? I asked. I took a bite of my lasagna, and I could see why that lady who had been sitting next to me had moaned when she tasted hers. The blend of flavors was amazing. It was seasoned perfectly. The salad was a perfect accompaniment for the lasagna, with crisp lettuce, grated carrots, and juicy chunks of tomato covered in Italian dressing. The breadsticks were a bit crunchy on the outside with soft, moist insides. And to top it off, there was a brownie for dessert. I ate every bite. Even though I was stuffed when I finished eating all of that, I still wanted more. I need to borrow $20, he said. Lenny, what you really need is to learn to manage your money. Come on, Lindsay. Where is the $20 that I loaned you last week? I thought I paid that back. Sure, remember? I came over and you were making pizza. I remember that you ate half of my pizza 2 weeks ago. You still didn't pay me back the money that you borrowed from me last week. Are you sure? How can you need money, Lenny? You make twice as much as I do. Dad's keeping my money to pay for repairs to the truck. Why do you have to pay for repairs for the truck? Because a light pole jumped out in front of me when I was driving home from the bar. Didn't I tell you about that? Lenny, I think you should go to AA with Dad. What? You and Dad in cahoots now? Come on, Lindsay. I need some money now. For what? So that you can get drunk and wreck the truck again? Dad's not letting me drive the truck. I'm walking these days. Do you mean to tell me that you walked 12 miles to my place to borrow $20? You know what? Just forget it. I'll borrow it from somebody else, he said, and the phone went dead. I checked my phone, and there was still no reply from Amy. I headed back to the place where we had been sitting. I had hopes that she would be there waiting for me when I got back, but as I got closer, I saw that there was no sign of her. My heart sank. I had to do something. I was going to have to search for her. Thank you for reading this chapter of my book, The Double Switch. I hope that you enjoyed it. If so, please click on the like button. It will also help you to mark the spot where you left off. When you come back to the book, just look for the last chapter that you liked, and you will know which chapter you read last. Please click on the subscribe button and the bell so that you can be informed each time a new chapter or story is uploaded. God bless. Carole, Neuok.